So I'm not a big gamer or anything. You might notice I cover a little bit of gaming stuff here, but I'm not like I don't play a lot of new games. Like the newest game I play is like Skyrim. So I'm not like a out here playing whatever's the newest game on the block. People invite me to play all the time. Play Dead by Daylight or Fortnite or stuff like that. I don't have the patience for it. But I do like a good retro game. I like the old Nintendo games in Super Nintendo and Sega. The 8-bit and 16-bit era of video games was kind of what I really enjoy, and I like modern games that are made sort of in that vein. They have that sort of feel to them, like Ori and the Blind Forest. But I grew up on like side scrollers, right? One of my earliest memories is playing Nintendo, because my parents had we had a Nintendo, but they hooked it up in their bedroom and had, on a black and white TV, if you know, and it didn't have like a screw-in thing. It had little forks that you stuck under a screw and screwed it down, and it was really old-timey and I sort of nostalgic for it, but the TV was black and white, so I didn't even know until I got a little bit older that Mario and Luigi had different different colors. But I grew up playing a Nintendo, playing Nintendo when it first came out, like 1985 is when we got it. Well, my dad got it. I played it later on because I was only 2 in 1985. I'm not that old, but my cousin was a little bit, her parents were a little bit, splurged a little bit more for her. So I would go over there, and I remember when she got Super Mario Brothers 2. And there's a character in Super Mario Brothers 2. It's called Birdo. And I remember looking through the book and stuff while we were playing that. And, that's not what I wanted to, there we go. And this is the character. This is what they looked like. It was actually, I think it was called Ostro in that time period, but this is what the little booklet said about it. There's like they used to come with little video games. They come in a box and then have a little booklet with instructions and things, and it telling you how to play the game and telling you maybe some folklore about the game and stuff like that. Anyway, it said this: Birdo, he thinks he's a girl and he spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Burdette. So, this is essentially a trans character, right? It's at the time that this was released in the U.S., that was just a very taboo thing, right? That to even talk about, being gender bent, it was a bit problematic. So when they interpreted this character to the U.S. market, they interpreted the character's description, which was a kind of a gender role in Japanese culture, and they interpreted it as just a cross-dresser. But it's different than like what you think of as a cross-dresser or a drag queen or anything like that in American culture in the U.S., right? It's how do they say it? Otokak. Hold on, I got a document about it. Just a second here. I got the word. I don't want to mispronounce it. I'm not losing my place though, and with all these documents over here, so I apologize. Here it is. Odo Kanoko, yeah, is and we're gonna explore that word here a little bit, but I'm not even talking about Birdo today. It wasn't even about Birdo. We're talking about freaking Mario, the new Paper Mario game, because apparently there's a trans character. It's a remake. It's a reboot of a game from 2004, right? And they had a one of these characters in that game that was similar, called Vivian, right? Now, when they do in this reboot of it, they're more straightforward with their interpretation of who the character is. And Mario's cool with it. I am Vivian. My pronouns are she, her. I respect your genders. People are flipping out about this, right? Like gamer nerds and stuff. So here's the actual dialogue from the content. The truth is, it took me a while to realize I was their sister, not their brother. Now their bullying feels heavier. So the character Vivian is like a part of these trio of girls, of sisters, but they didn't really accept her because they said she was their brother and she couldn't be one of the Siren sisters. So they took that away from her, and so she teams up with Mario instead to, pursue whatever the game brings. She becomes part of your RPG team, right? Well, so Nintendo includes transgender character in new Paper Mario video game. And then, of course, you have, and this is what we're going to talk about here. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm going to talk about this. I don't know if anybody of you all know who this person is. It's that short, fat otaku guy, right? And he goes on this stream with somebody I actually used to watch, this guy named Craig. He used to be like involved a little bit with Angry Video Game Nerd and stuff like that, but he's a total chud now. Anyhow, their stream they did, they were big mad about this character, and short fat otaku tries to kind of rewrite history. So I'm gonna watch a little bit of that real quick, just from where it picks up.
They are taking, or they may take. Here, let's be safe about this. They might take this character, who, in the wake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, did kind of become a gay or a cross-dressing icon in the 2000s and early 2010s. They might take this character and they might trans them.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. You're telling me
they're gonna trans them? Like, again, you can't trans somebody. Like, but this is a fictional character, right? They can do whatever they want with them. They're Nintendo, right? They're gonna do whatever is gonna make them the most money. And if right now making the most money is coming from giving your support to the trans community, that's what they're gonna do. That's just the way it's gonna happen. But these guys are gonna be they're gonna seethe about it because, well, we'll see.
Me that this character that nobody's ever heard of, like it's a fringe character from this game, is an icon.
A fringe character. So no, the trans icon from Mario is Birdo. Right? That's the Birdette. If she wants to be called Birdette, we can call her Birdette. But that's the iconic trans character. They can have more than one trans character, though. The Mushroom Kingdom's big, and there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody in the Mushroom Kingdom, Craig.
Is an icon for, like, what? That doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't.
I'm going to be honest with you. Here, I'll just bring her up real quick. I'm going to be honest with you. Whenever I've seen, before the social justice era, whenever I had seen,
at least they didn't say woke. That's a first. Usually it's the woke era.
Discussions of what gay or trans characters should be in video games, everyone pointed to Vivian. Now, in the 2000s and 2010s, this was not necessarily a big part of the internet the way that it is now, but she was definitely known enough. I mean, it's a Mario character, and especially Paper Mario games, they kind of have a very dedicated sub fan base. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think anybody who's been around the internet and knows and has been like tuned in, especially to like Nintendo subcultures, they've heard a lot about basically the gender bendy nature of Vivian and how they wish that she had been accurately translated in 2004. It's definitely a common thing to hear.
Okay, all right. This is news to me. Then okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm not in this community, so I don't know. That's the thing, and I've never seen somebody cosplay as this character for being as iconic as.
I don't know. I'd never heard of it. I'm not a Paper Mario fan or anything. That's not my thing. I don't like when I played games, I didn't play RPGs. Well, I shouldn't say that. I played like Diablo and stuff. I didn't play turn-style RPGs. Matter of fact, it kind of annoyed me. I didn't like Final Fantasy and stuff a lot, but some of my friends did. But in turn-style games, though, the thing is you can get a whole team of diverse characters, of dozens of characters. Some of them will be more memorable than others, and some of them might be trans, but what does that matter? Why is that a problem?
It is. So yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Basically, Vivian is iconic for being like aside from Birdo, where Birdo was translated in the I don't know if you remember this, Craig. Way back in the day, Mario 2, there was the booklet that said that Birdo was like a cross-dressing guy or something, and people have like clung on to that, you know.
Right.
But this is Vivian.
That's literally Birdo's. That's literally canon. That Birdo identifies as female, and that's what a trans person is. It's like you're missing a key part that Birdo's identity, or Burdette's identity, or Burdetta. I've heard. I think Burdetta was the one for Astra, but anyway, that if they're identifying as something different than their assigned sex at birth, then they are trans. And I'm sorry if that upsets you. Sorry if you don't like that, but that's what a trans person is.
Is basically the only canonical cross-dressing person in Mario lore, so people are like, "Oh my god, that's the one." But however, this is all happening in the context of a different conversation, where you have gay men and feminine men, and also masculine women and tomboys, and they're kind of being pushed into a trans box. And this is happening.
No, they're not. So these are characters who say in canon, in the story, that they identify as a different gender than their assigned sex. But canonically, they're saying that. It's not someone saying, "Oh, this person's kind of butch. Maybe we'll make her a trans man instead," or whatever. That's not what's happening here. That's not how this is playing out.
This is now far beyond Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. There's many examples. So let's see if I can find here.
Many examples.
Right, this isn't what I was looking for. Give me a second here.
Well, while you pull that up, right. While you
are they making Lara Croft into? Here we go. I found it. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. What you got?
So here we go.
Yep.
This is a screenshot from a recent Persona remake. This character.
Where's the part about
Persona 3?
This is 3, right?
There's a number of job listings on their website for localization jobs where they have to be aware of.
This is the boogeyman right here. It's the DEI, right? It's always about the DEI now. That's the new scary guy. That means that they might have a black or queer person. They might have somebody with darker than lily skin on the screen. And people are mad about it. And they're like, "Oh, we don't like to include other people. We just want it to be all white." And then this panel of
related topics, which obviously this kind of subject that we're talking about here would kind of encompass that. So it's not unheard of.
Yeah, like look at the panel we're dealing with.
That they would be making these changes with their localization to push a lot of this ideology. So, and I was sent one. There's one for Spanish as well, not just with English from like Japanese to Spanish. So they're doing this across the board at Nintendo of America.
Wow. Okay, Dev, does this go deeper?
It does. Just give me 2 minutes and I'll have it all set up for you.
Sure.
Come on, man.
The chat says that's Persona 4, so I stand corrected on that.
Okay.
I want to hear.
Well, while we continue this, which was, by the way, not expected today on the show.
The claim that you can somehow be objective is just utterly ridiculous. What you can do is you can seek the truth and try and discover what it is, and you should be staying to the truth. But
why did they link it at this point?
And to kind
so here's the thing: is in what he said. Is he says that he uses the word trap. Yeah, here we go. So he says in the original. I'm not going to sit here and watch anymore. I thought this would take us to the spot where he said this, and it didn't. I'm kind of annoyed. It says, in the original party info and in the original game and Goombella's tattle log, it says that Vivian is an Otokonoko, an effeminate male, otherwise known as a male daughter or femboy or trap. Not trans. That's delusional headcanon. His catch card used the same word, again, not trans. So the funny part about this is not really funny because, I don't like the term personally, but trap is definitely a word for trans people, right? I'm not even gonna parse words with you about it. It really is. What is the trap here from dictionary.com? Trap, right here. A term used especially in online message boards for anime characters of ambiguous gender and transgender people who pass as cisgender. The idea of the term is that such an individual traps people into thinking they are a different gender. In forums, a user might post an "it's a trap" image of Admiral Akbar to mock men who are attracted to transgender women. While trap itself can be used as a positive label in both anime culture and the transgender culture, the use of "it's a trap" in these contexts is generally transphobic and homophobic, as it implies that the trans person is deceiving someone about their gender. So, a trap is a trans person, or can be a trans person. But here they say an effeminate male, otherwise known as a male daughter or femboy, or trap, not trans. Trans and trap are synonyms, or can be used as synonyms, and I don't know why they're pretending that they're different words or have different meaning, because clearly that's what we're working with here, right? Anyway. So yeah, he said this is what I was just reading to you. Yeah, and I highlighted the word trap. This is from his Twitter post about it. It's like, dude, the word trap means trans people. It's always been used that way. So to act like that's something different is kind of weird. Stop being weird. Just because you don't want trans people to exist doesn't mean you should just be weird about it. All right, and then you had I don't know, whoever the hell Switch played is. They got a blue check mark, so you know their commentary is golden. No, Vivian isn't transgender. Vivian was always a joke character, a cross-dresser, not a transgender. He's a dude who is very effeminate, so his friends make fun of him for it. That's it. It's just another situation how when Link had to dress like a chick in the Breath of the Wild, Nintendo isn't woke. Okay, so the situation with Link and Breath of the Wild is completely different. Link never, in any of the canon as far as I know, has ever said that their identity, that they identify as the opposite gender to what they were assigned at birth. Vivian does in canon. Birdo does in canon all the way back in 1986, 87. So what are you talking about? These characters have a deep-rooted history in the queer community and as queer characters. The notion that you want to play word games about it and say because there's Japan as a different culture has a lot of other gender expressions doesn't take away from the queer identity of these characters as interpreted by the American audience. We didn't have representation straightforward. It had to be gay coded. It had to be queer coded. It couldn't be in your face. That didn't really start till the late 90s, and it was very niche at that time. Things like Will and Grace and stuff like that. But you wouldn't have had a character that you could relate to in children's programming as a queer child, because any representation in children's programming or video games in the U.S. Would have been considered grooming is what you all call it, right? So they had to change things up for the American audience, and now we're in 2024, and the audience is ready for it in the U.S. because we do have a better understanding of gender and gender expression in the U.S. now. Now that we're ready for it, they've translated the character's identity more accurately. Even if short, fat Taku doesn't like this interpretation, because as he said himself, a trap is what's the word again? Odo Konoko is a trap, which is a term for a trans person. Get over it.